are listening to ComedySlamRadio.com. From our studios to the world, we bring you the finest in quality entertainment. So pop some popcorn, grab a smooch buddy, and settle in for another fine show from ComedySlamRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to the Let's Be Frank show on ComedySlamRadio.com, where we bring you national touring and celebrity comedian interviews. Follow us on Twitter at Let's Be Frank Show, and if you miss our live broadcast, you can find us on Stitcher Radio and iTunes at Let's Be Frank's podcast, and please contact us with any questions or information about advertising and sponsoring at Let's Be Frank with Dave Frank at yahoo.com. All right, welcome to the Let's Be Frank show with Dave Frank. We are blessed with a great in-studio guest tonight, a legend in his own mind, comedian for 25 years, Ward Smith. How you doing?
Thank you, Dave. Nice to be here.
Nice to be
Comedy
here.
Slam Radio. Thank you for having me here.
You know, thank you for buying me a beer tonight before the show. Normally, I buy everybody else the beer.
Am I the first guest to actually
You were the first
pick up
guy.
the tab?
Well, you insisted. Steve Eric, who's been on the show many times,
Loved him,
buys
man.
the drinks for me sometimes.
It's a good guy.
But I like to buy. I like to buy the drinks.
What the hell was I thinking?
I'm not paying you, so that's about the only thing you're getting out of me is a $4 beer.
Oh, then after the show, let's go over and really tune up when we're done. Okay, let's go back to the Freaky Tiki. Can we say the Freaky Tiki?
Yeah, listen,
The Freaky Tiki was where the pre-show green room is for the Comedy Slam radio show, and I'm sorry, I was puking. That's what they call puking in the business. The old radio DJ got the voice with a talk like that. The boss sounds with the boss Jack from 11850 right now, kids. That's called puking.
I always go there. Almost every week I go there before the show. As long as the people that want to go in, that are coming in, want to go there, we always go. We've gone there after. It's a great place, Freaky Tiki.
It's one of the few places left where you can actually drink and smoke inside of.
I noticed that.
You know that?
I'm not a smoker. I gave it up so many years ago. It's an afterthought to me. But
I'm no
yes,
quitter. I'm no quitter, so I
you're
just
not
stay
a quitter.
with it. Nope.
I'm a quitter.
Huh?
I quit.
Mm-hmm.
I still get nightmares about when I used to smoke. It's funny because I'm in the nightmare. I'm always driving the same car, and it was my 1997 red Ford Probe. Awesome, first sportish car I have, if you could call it a sports car.
Babes dig that car. Babes dig the Probe. They always dig the Probe.
They didn't dig it enough. They dug the car better than me.
Materialistic women.
There you go. But in the nightmare, I always wake up and I'm looking for my pack of cigarettes, and in the nightmare, I'm driving that car with the windows down, smoking a cigarette, and I wake up in a cold sweat. It happens like once a year. It's like a reminder that I don't want to go back to the Surgeon General devil.
All right, now let me ask you this: did you quit cold turkey?
The last time I quit cold turkey.
Okay, now, God bless you, because I don't have the willpower.
Right.
I suck at willpower.
I was 23 years old, and I was hacking. 23 years old. I was hacking my brains out, and I said, you know what? Where am I going to be if I do this for another 20 years? Because I started smoking at the God blessed age of 10 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So I had 13 years in. I fucked up my youth on my lungs and all that,
Okay.
probably. So I got out while the getting was good.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm Jewish. I got pissed off that they hit $2 a pack. I think that set the fire.
Okay. Well, were you a Reformed Jew or you Orthodox Jew?
Reform, pretty casual.
You know the difference?
Yeah.
Between Orthodox Jews don't eat pork, right? Reformed Jews don't eat pork, but if you do, I got a wonderful recipe. You know, a pork tenderloin with a little cracked pepper on it. It's with the hot spicy mustard. It's gorgeous. You know.
Pork is good.
That's right. It's
delicious.
It's the other white meat, man.
It is. And then if you watch Austin Powers movies, there's the other white meat, which is baby.
That's right.
But I don't sniff.
Red meat is not bad for you. You know, bluish greenish meat with shit growing on it.
And although the other white meat is baby, I do not sniff bath salt, so I have I'm not interested in eating flesh.
What was that going on where they had that rash of the bath salt snorting flesh eating zombies that were out there? What the fuck?
I don't know, man. You know, I know. Back in the day when I was a pothead, I had enough trouble not eating potato chips.
Right.
I don't need something that's going to make me want to eat another animal or
Right.
person.
That's right.
I was happy with it.
Do you really want to get that buzz where you feel like gnawing someone's face off?
No.
I don't think that's fun, man.
No, it's not.
Tune in, turn on, drop out, eat a face. Okay. I don't think that's what our founding drug forefathers had in mind when they invented that stuff.
No.
Who's the genius who sits around and says, I mean, it sounds like something like you'd see an Animal House or a college movie or something. what can we do to get high? We already smoked cat litter, and we already done the datura growing in the backyard and the angel's trumpet. What's next? Bath salts? I mean, they're going. I remember when you were a kid, you'd like have when the parents were away, you'd mix everything in the liquor cabinet up.
Right.
Is it we've gone as a society to where we're taking everything in below the medicine chest? You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We'll do
Below
bath
the medicine
salts,
chest, they're
smoking cotton balls and rolled up in tampons. I mean, what are these fucking kids doing now? They're trying to get high off of it. I
They
mean,
try to get high off.
I'll
everything.
smoke weed out of anything, but I mean, bath salts. Come on, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, man. But hey, the worst thing I don't know. I don't know if bath salts is worse than the people that huff on their own poop from their own methane gas, or they take their poop in a jar and they put the balloon on it and it catches it and they get high off of that.
Don't judge me.
I'm just glad you brushed your teeth before you finished huffing your ass. You know, I heard of getting your huffle on, but woo. I mean, I saw that
Inhaling the methane of your own gas.
Yeah, I saw it on the news. It must be true. It was on TV, right?
Right.
You've been on TV. You're true. I could touch you. You're really here.
That's right. And I fart, so it must be true.
I smelt that, man. Oh, it was fucking horrible.
Sorry about that. No, you burped down in the tiki bar. I didn't say anything about that.
I wasn't on the radio though, man.
No, you were.
Now, if I was Artie Lang and I was on 102.5 The Bone, which I listened to, and I'm driving home.
So you're a bonehead, right? Is that what it is?
I've been called that many a times.
Okay.
Even before the bone existed. But I'm driving home, and there's Artie Lang, and the guy's, I mean, this huge burp in the radio. And I'm like, that's to me, I'm like, oh my God, I would never do that.
Is he still on?
Artie, it's Artie Lane and Nick DiPaolo on 102.5 The Bone. They do. He eats burgers. It's a constant thing for him. It's
when is this on? He's not on the AM side anymore.
No, he's on 102.5 The Bone.
This is
FM.
the morning show.
This isn't Artie. This isn't Artie Fletcher. It's Artie Lang.
Artie Lang. Oh, I'm sorry.
Artie Lang from Howard Stern show and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, Artie. I've never listened to Artie Fletcher's show.
Okay.
I met him once. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to Artie Fletcher.
Happy birthday,
Congratulations for getting out of the hospital, happy, healthy, and
that probably why he hasn't been on the radio, I guess.
I think he just started a new show though. He's got something else coming out.
Okay.
I've never met him. Let's
right.
talk about you more than him.
Okay, fine.
He's happy, healthy. He had a heart attack, but he's good, and he had a good birthday yesterday.
God bless him. All right, God bless him.
While he was having a birthday, I was actually doing that the charity show
that you did. Let's talk about that. That's more important than me. The good work that you guys did, Caleb. Right?
It was supportcaleb.com.
Support Caleb.
Yep.
And
he was
I wanted to be there. I
comedians.
did want to be there yesterday. I had other plans that came up, and I'm very, very sorry. I told you, and I'll say it right here on the air. I will send a donation. Is there a PayPal account? Do you know if they're set up?
You just go to supportcaleb.com, and on the right-hand side, you can click on, I think it's WePay, and they
get that done.
They get their little 3.5% for hosting the whole donations and making sure the family gets the money.
That's fine.
But it was nice because Bay News 9 came out to the
saw
event
that
at the Tampa Picture Show.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first TV appearance. It was on the news, and I did not have handcuffs on. And that's a rarity in Florida.
That's for you. For anybody being on TV.
Yeah, I mean, that's, my family could be proud of my
See, I was on TV, and both times I was associated with law enforcement.
Yes.
So,
but yours was burn notice.
Well, it was fictional, but yet were there handcuffs? Could they be involved? Yes. Am I from Florida? Well, burn notice took place in Florida, so there was your Florida law connection, breaking it, whatnot.
Right.
So I can see where Florida people on TV usually associated with the law in some regard, even if it's cops or America's Most Wanted, or if it's stories in the news about the favorite thing. We're known for the election getting screwed up. We're known for the teacher sex scandal. The first thing that I remember that really put Florida on the map, and I know people out there can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a guy who got his pecker stuck in a pool jet. That is, it was a hotel in Lakeland, and he was fucking the pool jet, and he got his pecker stuck in it, and then someone had to call 911. They had to drain the pool and get some Vaseline around it and get his unit out of that little pool return.
I'm so glad I grew up in New York and had
right.
common sense.
Right.
I knew to stood back. That had a pretty big jet. You could stand back 4 or 5 inches
And still take care of business.
Get their shit done.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
Pimping ain't easy.
I tell you.
Get your dick stuck in the vacuum jet
That's right.
on a pool.
It's hard for a pimp. It's hard for a pimp, right?
It is. But getting back to Caleb, it was kind of lucky for me because we had some great people that came together to do that.
Right.
Johnny Bell came to the show, Johnny Oz, and John J. Murray.
A lot
all
of
did
Johns.
time on the show. I was the only non-John.
Three non-Johns.
I was the pimp of the night. Those were my Johns. And originally Mike Murillo was going to be part of it, but he took some time out, got the room set up, and he just was a little tired for going on stage. But it was great, and Kathy McGuire helped out.
Wow.
A lot of people came out. Verizon donated.
See, that's
a lot
one thing I
of
noticed,
stuff.
and that's how I've known you is through the advance of technology and through Facebook and whatnot, and getting to know the local comedy scene, who the new guys are. I mean, there's new people coming in all the time, and I can't keep track of them all.
There's new people coming in, and there's new people going out.
Right.
It seems like every open mic.
There's new people coming in. There's
Yep.
old people coming back, and the bug are all in the middle. But what you guys did as a unit, as a collective unit, and I follow Mike a lot on Facebook as well, and you as well. What you guys are doing for something good, I think that says so much about the vision that you guys have and your hearts. And you're right, we comics do stick together.
Yeah,
I mean, we never met Caleb. I'm sure you never met the
Nope.
guy, but he's a brother in the fraternity.
right. And
you know.
some of the people I've never, I actually never did a show with Johnny Bell before, so that
Mhm.
was our first show. I'd been at open mics with some of the other people
Right.
and done some shows, but it was all everybody coming together just to do something
great.
cool.
That's
And,
great.
It worked out well. We'll save it for when Vilmo's going to call in.
Okay.
Vilmo was the comedian that was mentoring Caleb Medley.
Mhm.
He'll talk a little bit about that, but he started the whole support Caleb, and
Mhm.
it's an interesting story on how it all happened. But he's going to call in. We had a good time, raised some money. A lot of people donated some great gifts. Lots of people came out. It was a pretty good room, and
Good.
we had a good time. We even had some music in the beginning.
Excellent. I saw that on the report too. You had
Yes,
live
some
music.
music. The one guy was very good on the keyboards, very good. They were all good singers. James Hanley and can't believe I can't remember the other guy's name, but I'm more of a comic.
Okay.
And then we had we also had Kathy McGuire, who was out, great vocalist. She sang. So it was a really good night,
Good.
and I'm happy we did it.
Yep.
And as I said, I didn't
You
get
didn't-
handcuffed on TV.
Right, and they spelled your name right in the paper.
Yeah.
Right.
No, actually, you know what's funny?
I'm sorry, on the
On
report.
TV, they did. On the newspaper,
They can refer to you as Frank.
yeah, I was
They'll do
Frank.
that from time. They cite you up front, David Frank, who's organizing, blah, 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 blah. And then
Yeah.
later on, Frank later went on to say,
Yeah, everybody does that, though.
Right.
That's what happens when you're cursed with two first names.
Ward Smith, two last names.
Yeah, Ward Smith, and I get David Frank.
Mhm.
But it's what's really messed up is, and my parents didn't realize it,
What's your middle name? Miller?
it's fucking Matthew, so it's DMF. So I grew up, you're already laughing because you already know, dumb motherfucker. And that's what I was called growing up. And maybe that's why I have a little personality and I'm pissed off at the world and do comedy. But the funny part of it
Is
is,
DMF right at your bar mitzvah too? DMF too? Is that what?
oh, it was everywhere.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just everywhere. And when my parents and my mother especially first figured out why I didn't like DMF, because I never told them. It was just, I'm not going to go home and tell that I got picked on about my name. I'm a fucking man. I wasn't doing that
Right.
in middle school or anything. I was working at Sears, and my mother worked there, and she was artsy, fartsy, and made things. She made me a tie clip with the initials DMF.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
Oh, no.
and I'm like, Mom, I can't wear this. I'm like 19, 20. And she goes, what do you mean you can't wear it? I made it. I said, Mom, I can't wear DMF. Do you know what they called me my whole life growing up? And she goes, no. And when I told her, dumb motherfucker, she goes, oh my God, me and your father spent so much time trying to pick out names that you guys wouldn't get picked on. And I'm like, wow, you were thinking as adults. You weren't thinking like a fifth grader. DMF is dumb motherfucker all the way through. I was screwed. It was over. And probably deservedly so, I've been called dumb motherfucker, just probably for good reason. But I think secretly there's probably times like when I ruined the carpet or burnt the carpet at the house. My father was probably calling me dumb motherfucker. He's probably happy he gave me the initials on that day.
Under your breath, they probably were calling you dumb motherfucker, I'm sure.
I did do a lot of things to.
Dad, can
do
I go to
damage.
Tommy's? No, we're gonna go to Aunt Rose's. Dumb motherfucker. You know, under the breath, that kind of a thing. Right?
Oh yeah. Oh, let's see. My father had put down. I know. I'm surprised I made it out of the house alive. One time he had recarpeted the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this beautiful mauve color carpet that my mother wanted. And you know that when you, at least up in New York, up north, people have carpet. When you get carpet
in New York, did she put covers over the carpet?
She used to have the covers over the couches.
Right.
But when you first get carpet, you have to vacuum it every day because the stuff comes up. Well, my father thought that I was responsible enough to vacuum the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Unbeknownst to him, sorry about his damn luck, he was wrong. I was vacuuming the carpet, and it picked up one of those little cords or a piece of string, and it wound around the wheel.
Burn out the wheel?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm a pretty strong guy. I'm just pushing it. I don't realize that it's stuck. I'm still pushing the whole thing, not looking around. I could have had headphones on. I left a black streak on this mauve pink-colored carpet.
Because the belt had melted?
Oh, yeah. It was on every single step. It was on all the way in the entire house. It was like I was oblivious to the fact I was even doing it.
You dumb motherfucker. That's your Hebrew name.
Yes.
You dumb motherfucker.
That was one of the first times I think my father wanted to choke me out.
Sure.
If it was legal to beat the crap out of your... Well, back then it probably was legal. It wasn't as big of a deal.
Then they call it discipline. Now they call it abuse.
Yes.
Right.
But yeah, I then I destroyed the downstairs carpet, which it was easier.
Oh, if that weren't enough.
Yes.
If that weren't enough.
Yes.
Being the overachiever that you are, the star son that you are.
A couple years later, my buddy's hanging out. I think we were having a sleepover or whatever the hell it was, and I decided to start a fire in the fireplace.
Nice.
And what am I going to do? There's a fire. I got a stick to poke at it. I'm poking that fire with a stick.
Right.
Well, a couple of hot embers come out, catch the rug on fire. I'm stomping it out. And, you know, I'm a little kid. I think I got this great idea. We got this some kind of petrified piece of wood that somebody found or gave us. So I'm like, well, let me just reposition the living room and I'll put this here and no one will notice that this ever happened. And apparently as soon as they walked in, they were like, Dave, didn't we tell you you're not allowed to use the fireplace? And why is everything moved? And then it was dumb motherfucker.
Did you have the
again.
flue open? At least you had the flue open, no? So
yes.
The room wasn't full with smoke, and you had the embers on the.
Yeah, no. The room wasn't filled with smoke, but I was the dumb motherfucker again.
Have you made up? Have you made amends? Are you still atoning?
No, I've made amends.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm still grounded for life. I'm just out on good behavior.
I did have to call to get permission.
Right. I let the dog. I didn't let the dog out. I think I was in 6th grade one time, and it crapped on the rug, and then I was. You are grounded for life, young man. And it's still stuck, you know.
There you go.
I get out on good behavior. I get out to go to work, you know, and then I have to check in. There's no ankle bracelet. Mom just fucking knows.
There you go.
You know.
Moms always know. I remember the first time I flipped my mother the bird.
Ooh.
She wasn't even looking at me. She yelled at me. She was walking down the hall. I flipped her the bird, and she goes, "Put that finger down." I'm like, how did you know? She goes, as soon as you were born, I got a third eye on the back of my head just for this.
That's right.
It was installed.
That's right. Now, do you have children of your own?
Hell no.
Hell no. Okay. I have 2.
You have 2 kids?
I have 2 boys, 16 and 20.
16 and 20. So one's out of the house and asking for money, and the other one's just asking for money.
Right. Exactly. Well, actually, my son, to his credit, my oldest boy, he has a job, and he's in school, and he's maintained his average. So, and he got a Bright Future Scholarship on his own.
Nice.
So if he needs some help, Pop's here to help out. His mother's here to help out. But he doesn't call me for, $50 here, $30 there. He help, call out for tuition. If he needs a brake job for his car, kind of a high ticket thing, that's what we do. We help out. But no, I mean, he takes care of his own self, and he's learning to be disciplined with a buck.
There you go.
And budget.
If he's young and good looking, I would recommend that he go on Craigslist and prostitute himself out to rich women.
Well, I have to retire from that first before I can pass that on to the sure.
Wordsmith, gigolo.
Yeah, by day.
Just checking.
By day.
You could have brought some of the bitches with you, some hot broads for Fat Davey.
I gave the ladies the night off, because the old expression, "Hey Ward," like Beaver said, "Hey, weren't you a little tough on the beef?" Yeah, I gave him the night off, so that's my.
Sorry about my damn luck. It could have been some hot girls here, man. Quiggy, he didn't bring any hot girls for me.
I remember I worked for Ron White once, And he said, "You mind if I use you in a joke?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I'm just gonna do this little thing. I'm gonna refer to you. Some guys get uptight about it." And I said, "Hell, I don't give a shit. Go right ahead." So I bring him on stage with the Punchline in Atlanta. And how about another hand for Ward Smith? Ain't he funny? Some bitch, I hate him. Good-looking fucker that he is. I mean, we went out last night, one of your clubs here by the Punchline, and I just have a tough time with women. I got to go into. He says, "Hell, look at me." By that, and back then he had big hair. He had a big mustache, like a David Crosby mustache, and
All right.
dressed like a hippie. And he says, "Hell, look at me. I'll meet a woman. I gotta tell her I'm a comedian, I'm a writer, and I'm working on my own shows, and I have screenplays down the line, writing novels and short stories, and I really got to work on my rap when I got to talk to a woman." Ward just walks up and says, "Hey, I got a Snickers. Who wants to fuck?"
I wish it was that easy. My problem is I would probably eat the fucking Snickers.
Well, yeah, when it comes down to it, it's what's that old joke that Sadie, was it Izzy and Mo are in the nursing home, and Sadie is running around, and she's hiking up her nightie, and she's screaming, "Super pussy, super pussy, super pussy." And then Izzy looks at Mo and says, "I'll have this soup." That took a second.
So tell us a little bit what brought you to comedy. I mean, it was about 25 years that you're in comedy now. So how long ago?
Mm-hmm. Well,
we're going from such hilarious stuff to how'd you get into comedy first? Where'd you start doing open mics and stuff?
I started in Phoenix, Arizona. I was doing stand-up when I was in the service, and that was in 82 and 83 and 84. Actually, 82, 83, and 84. And then when I got out of the service, I was going to Arizona State, and a friend of mine, I was at bellhop at a hotel, and we got free passes for this comedy club to pass on to guests or whatnot, and we were invited down to see the club, and they got a first couple of round of drinks for us, and so we could talk about it and bring patrons down. And I saw David Spade was there, and he was on one of the open micers, and they do open mics every Monday night. That's what the MC was saying, and I went, "Oh, okay." So I started hanging out, and I was trying to do whatever Army stories I could remember that would translate in 5-10 minutes, whatever it was. And I started becoming, a regular. And then we do improv at the end of the night. Anything for more stage time. You just want to try and get booked. That's what I found out when they tell you that's what it is. You see, you keep doing, you do well at open mics consistently. You try to get an MC spot, at this local club. It was called Finney Bones. Comic Michael Finney. He was one of the greatest comic magicians out there. Still out there. Right. It was his club in Phoenix, one of those many clubs. And so a guy named Paul Hopp was the manager of it. And so eventually I got it. I got an MC job. And there were two comedy clubs. There was one in Phoenix and one in Scottsdale. A place called Seekers was in Scottsdale. And it was like the nope, it sounds like we got a phone call right here.
Yeah, I think
we got a phone call.
Vilmos,
we're going to interrupt this story right now because it absolutely is going nowhere. And Vilmos is on the phone. And
Vilmos, how are you tonight?
Vilmos, are you there?
Gwiggy, did you not patch Vilmos through? Go ahead, Gwiggy, you'll get that worked out. Continue.
So it was at the actually there was the guy at Seekers, Jerry Weisberg, called me up and said, I need you to fill in because David Spade was originally scheduled to MC. I think he got a better paying gig like in LA for like $200 for the week.
Wow.
So because I got $75 for the week to MC, but I opened for Pat Paulson.
Now my first MC gig is I had a weekend or 2 days was $75.
Right.
So how many years later? 25.
Right. And now it's $1.25. So but that's where it started. All the clubs, because Phoenix was really close to LA, and so the people that came over, I opened for Kevin Nealon and Bruce Baum and John Fox, the great John Fox, who passed away, God rest his soul, not last year. Later, when I moved to Houston, I opened for Bill Hicks, and but everybody would come through the LA scene, and Stephen Wright. That was a wonderful time.
Oh, I bet. And now we actually lost a great female comedian today, Phyllis Diller.
The great Phyllis Diller.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about somebody who's breaking ground, like her and Joan Rivers, in this guy's game. It's a young man's game for one. I'm trying to, I'm booked the next week at Coconuts, and that's great. It's always time to get up, but the older you get, you want to stay fresh, you want to stay relevant and stay true to who you are. I mean, You look at the kind of career Carlin had, who he could still stay fresh and true. And, you look at also your demographic. Those people, his audience grew with him. Coming out today, you go to a new audience at whatever the comedy club that's in town, and they're 30-somethings. The demographic today that has disposable income are late 20s to early 30s. And it's like, geez, well, I'm coming from a point of view, I'm pushing 50. I mean, I can talk to people who have kids and have, got them in school and have grown up, and, we're bless you, we're relating to things that happened in our past. I mean, the people are on the cusp of what's hip and happening now, the young guys. And it's interesting to try and stay relevant and to keep juggling. And I think we have Vilmos back. Vilmos, are you there?
Vilmos, how are you tonight? Oh, he's going to be patched in just a second.
That's one thing about internet radio shows. You can say, we're going to take a short break and come right back. There's no freaking commercials, are there? So we just kind of keep going. It's like a telethon.
There you go.
Can we go to the tote board? Quiggy, how many we got?
We have 7 million listeners.
But they're all out of town today.
So we were talking about Phyllis Diller. They'll get the boards working.
Okay. It's
a loss. It's a great loss.
It is. She was 90. She was 90, something like that.
She was up there. But she had a lot of medical issues over the last couple of years.
I mean, the poor thing. I mean, you figure to be that long at 80. I mean, for goodness, maybe the body's. And you know how it is. I'm pushing 50, and I get out of bed. I mean, I tore my plantar fascia walking to the bathroom.
Hello,
Vilmos. How are you?
Vilmos.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, Vilmos?
Hello.
I'm here, Vilmos. Can you hear us?
Vilmos.
All right. He's having trouble hearing us, so we're going to move on.
I don't know.
Can you hear us, Vilmos?
All right. It's one of those things.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be obviously sad, but she has had to have motivated so many of the lady comics that are out there that are, from that whole Lisa Lampanelli.
Oh, well, then they go even
guys.
Further back than that, like Imogen Coca, Carol Burnett,
Exactly.
Elaine May. I mean, it floored me when Jerry Lewis said that there's no funny women that are out there, or women can't be funny. Whatever he had said, and I didn't know the context. I didn't hear it, so I don't know how much he was joking. But it got spread out there that Jerry Lewis said that there's women can't be funny, there are no funny, which is so far from the case. I mean, you mentioned Lisa Lampanelli, women now, Kathy Latham, Elaine Boosler, Carol Leifer. I mean, go on and on and on. Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, she's funny as hell. Paula Poundstone, she had her time.
Definitely.
Still out there? Is your Vilmos? Are you still there?
I'm here.
Oh,
Vilmos,
there he is.
How are you? Sorry, we having a problem with the phones there. Those things happen sometimes on live radio.
Verizon.
No Verizon. This is, I don't know. Sprint. Skype. There we go.
That's right.
So, Vilmos, how are you? Thank you for calling in.
I'm good. How are you guys tonight?
We are not too bad. I am sitting here with comedian and actor Ward Smith is in the studio tonight.
Hello, Vilmos.
Good. Hello, Ward.
Hello, Vilmos. Listen, thank you very much for bringing Caleb to everyone's attention in the comedy communities throughout the country. I got turned on to what Dave was doing through what I guess you wanted to do, and it's very sad and unfortunate, but whatever we can do as a comedian community.
Yep, it's helpful.
So how did you...
that's the whole thing that people don't kind of understand about comedy is we're all both a bunch of self-loathing individuals that'll stick together when we need to.
That's right.
Stab you in the stab you right in the back until you need me.
That's right.
That's exactly. Well, look, we can stab our own, but
right.
Don't let anybody else from the outside take a.
We'll stab you in the back, but at the same
it.
time, and it's time for us to put the Band-Aid on it. We'll put the Band-Aid on it.
How did you come to family?
How did you come to meet Caleb? How did he come into your life, or how did
Caleb grew up in this little town of Florence, Colorado, which I happen to live in, and I have 3 kids that went to school with him. And if they were gonna, he ended up. I'm not gonna say when he was younger, but when he got older, he definitely came into being like my 4th kid. Our relationship really strengthened. He met me in the 8th grade. They do a seminar for the 8th graders career fair, and they would have people come into the classrooms and talk about being an accountant or a policeman or a nurse or doctor or whatever it was. And at the time, I owned a video store, and I'm a computer guy. So they never asked me to talk about those things. They all knew I was a stand-up comic, so they asked me to talk about the entertainment business. And I got 30 minutes. I spent 20 minutes telling them not to get into it and have a backup plan if they decided they wanted to. And then I told them 10 minutes of what it was like to be a comic and be on the road and, all the strangeness that goes along with it. And that was the day that Caleb would tell me later on that was the day he firmed up his plans to be a comic.
Wow. When you were telling that story, I had a vision of the teacher in the back of the room giving you a light when you had 5 to wrap it up.
Well, as a matter of fact, the kind of thing with the teacher, I happened to be the year that I did Caleb. There was one teacher who was a real hard ass. And he, this guy happened to be not listening to me, and he was just cleaning his desk, and he's rustling papers, and he's slamming drawers, and I finally stopped and I looked at him. I was treating him like a heckler. I said, "Look, can I just get you a bell or a horn so you can go every couple minutes to interrupt the rest of what I'm doing?" And the guy looks at me like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And my son, I don't think anything about it. The guy shuts up. I go on, and my son comes home from school and goes, "Dad, everyone is talking about you. Do you realize who you were talking to?" So, I kind of had my own thing. I had a heckler. But, Caleb, when he got to 17 years old in the senior high school, really started making his moves to be a comic. And that's when his and my relationship really kind of went into full swing, because I got him his first paid comedy gig. I put him on a show that I was producing in the area. I got him his first stage time at a regular comedy club. I used to own Wits End Comedy Club in Denver. I put him on stage with Dennis Blair.
Sure.
Nice.
And well, you know Steve McGrew, don't you? You know Mudflat?
I do not know Steve. I'm not a Denver guy.
Okay.
I'm an hour away.
Okay.
At the 2 hours away. So I didn't hang. I know who Steve is, of course, but Dennis Blair, if you know
Sure.
or may not know him, he was George Carlin's opener for nearly 20 years.
Yep.
So we had traveled 2 hours up to Denver to go there. We stayed in the condo, and Caleb got to listen to me and Dennis telling road stories. Now, my road stories are about people that no one's heard of.
Right.
Dennis's are about, Phyllis Diller, who, God rest her soul, died today.
Mm-hmm.
Carlin, Rodney Dangerfield, all these greats of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And Caleb just kind of sat there the whole time with his eyes wide open and his mouth hanging a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure you did too. I'm sure those stories are crazy. Someone once told me once, and I'm sure you too, Phil, must have. You should write a book on your road experience, and I'm sure we could. I mean, it would be $1 billion seller, no question about it, because you'd have to name names.
Yeah, if anybody would believe them.
Well, if you have to name names, and that's what sells the book. Of course, all the billions of dollars that I'd make would go right to lawsuits. So. It would want to be these career zenith type moves. It would be the biggest selling book of all time, and then I'd lose the fortune and end up in jail, broke, alone, and raped by a 6'10" black guy named Kathy.
Well, and the other thing was I took him out on his first one-nighter, which if you go to the supportcaleb.com website, I posted the video of his journey that he made in his little web series called Caleb Saves the Internet.
Nice.
So it actually shows me taking to this really crappy hotel. The locks really aren't even any good on the doors.
Sounds like a Yoder gig.
It was a hell gig. It was 2 hell gigs back to back, and he came out and had a great time. But he kind of chronicled his journey. So that thing was a really good way to people to kind of bond with him and find out what a good kid he really is.
Absolutely. And you guys, through that, through the Support Caleb, have raised a phenomenal amount of money in not a very long period of time. And I think it's a huge amount of comedians on Facebook, as well as I'm sure everybody else that's been donating. But I mean, I thought it was, it was almost infectious with how quickly it spawned its own life on Facebook and then out to the news, and it really took on a life of its own.
Yeah, it was a weird situation. I'm a web developer as well, because that's what I used to do. Because you guys know as well as I do, you can't just let comedy pay the bills for certain periods of your life. And
It hasn't paid a bill in my life at all.
I never let that stop me. Yes, I don't pay the bills regardless. Doesn't have to have.
all right,
comedy to that.
yeah, you know what? I need to just keep setting you guys up. The thing is I put together this website on Sunday night. I was on the radio in Omaha all morning Friday. Didn't even connect that it might have been him.
Right.
We talked about it a little bit on the station I was on, and then I went home, sent him a quick text message, feeling like I'd been stupid if I'd have said, "Hey, were you in this shooting?" And then he'd send me back a text message going, "What are you an idiot? Why would I be there?" So I sent him a real innocuous message. Hadn't heard back from him. Didn't find out till Friday night, right before I was going on to do 2 sets at the Omaha Bone, and I was in shock. I had no idea what to do for that first 24 hours. And the Saturday night I was in this comedy contest, and I went through that, and I sat down Saturday night and wrote the supportcaleb.com website.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I only did the one page. All it was that very first page you see that's got his picture on it, and the story, and the video, and his link to his interview on the Green Room. And I put that together, got in touch with the family, and after a little, I had to actually convince them, even though the family knows me, his father knows who I am and what I do. I had to convince him to get it put up. I had to buy the website. I had to get Caleb's original website back because he'd let it expire. He didn't have the money to keep it going. And make a long story short, got it up Sunday night, and by Monday morning, I quickly realized that there had been no talk about Caleb at all. They were focused on that poor gal that had gotten killed and had missed getting killed in the mall shooting in Canada.
Right.
You're right.
And I don't know her name, but they were focusing on everybody but Caleb. So I didn't know what to do. And I do this little podcast called The Green Room, and I've been doing it since April of 2008. And I've had some really good guests on it. I've had Robert Kelly on it, and I've had Pete Dominic and Gary Gulman and Aisha Tyler and a couple other bigger names. Not anybody huge, but kind of mid-level guys,
Sure.
And I just took my show book, which had everybody's email address or name, and went back and just started emailing everybody. And I sent them a very fast email that said, "Look, I don't know if you've heard about the shooting, but Caleb Medley is one of us. He's like a son to me. He's in a coma right now. He lost his right eye. His wife's going to have a baby on Monday. And if you could just pass this link along, I would be grateful." And that's all I did. And about 2 hours later, it took me about 2 hours to send those, starting around midnight, by noon, the stories were starting to come up on the internet because I had a Google alert going, and they just started coming up like crazy. And the donations had gone from $8,000 to like $40,000.
Fantastic. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And all proceeds.
And then it just blew up from there.
Everything's going right to the family.
Yeah, everything goes in that. The only thing that doesn't go to the family in the online stuff is, of course, those places have that place has a 3.5% fee that they take for processing.
Sure, I understand, but there's no other overhead.
Which apparently the site has told them that they're going to make a very large donation to kind of.
Well, how wonderful is that? What's Caleb's status? He said he's still in a coma. Is there any type of progress?
He's still in a coma. He's fighting an infection of some sort right now, and I don't really know. I don't have any details on that. But he has not opened his eyes since he got shot on the 20th. I think it was the 20th is the date. And they think that it's going to be a while. Like when I say a while, like several more weeks, till they can actually bring him out of the coma. And then we have no idea how he's going to be because he still has a shotgun pellet buried in the right-hand side of his brain, so far in that they can't ever take it out because they're afraid that they'd kill him in doing so.
And how is his wife and the rest of his family faring during all this?
Well, that's something that's kind of an odd situation because even though I'm very close with Caleb, I have very little contact with his father, and I are about the same age, and we don't see eye to eye.
I understand.
So
hence probably
I don't get any information out of him, and Katie's just overwhelmed with having a new baby and being
I'm
worried
sure.
sick about Caleb, and she just doesn't have time. It's not like she'll pick up the phone and call me and go,
Sure.
"Hey, Vilmos,
Right.
this is what's happening." So I get my news in fits and starts and
Well.
little dribbles here and there.
Well, I appreciate you getting the word out there. And, once I had reposted it and I had made an initial donation, everybody in the area, immediately 3 or 4 comedians said, let's do a benefit show. And 3 or 4 people said they wanted to be on it. And we had that show last night. And luckily, one of the local Bay News 9 came out and did a little bit of story on it. So it got some attention. And, we brought out a decent amount of people, and we were able to raise $582. And we did go through the website to make a donation so everybody felt nice and safe and secure. But we were able to raise that, and that felt good. And we brought some awareness out there. And, it was the comedy community coming together here. We had a great guy, Johnny Bell, who's 10 plus years in comedy. Johnny Oz, who's a little over 20 years.
Right.
And myself and John J. Murray, who are Greenpeace.
Right. I could not make it due to a prior commitment, but my donation is forthcoming.
He's
within
been
the
sending
hour.
checks in the mail all day, he says, but I don't know. I think
Well,
he's shady. I would check
look,
his credit, Vilmos.
Let me just say this. I am so grateful for everything you guys have done and for everything the comedy community has done. I mean, this kind of thing, Caleb is so important to me as a human being and a friend, and everything else that this gives me a certain amount of comfort just knowing there's so many people that will reach out to help him. But on the other hand, it makes me very proud to be a comedian, because I've always believed that comedy is a brotherhood, that we all share a common bond because of the experiences we've had to go through
Sure.
to become comics and to stay comics and to go out on the road.
Definitely.
And
Does
this
all-
just reinforces
yeah.
what I've always believed.
Only we understand us.
Definitely.
You can have a
That's
tremendous
exactly right.
you can have a tremendous spouse, a support unit at home, and God bless those who really have one that can hang out for the long haul. It takes a really special person to be, to put up with the likes of us.
I can't even get a woman to stay with me for 2 days.
Well,
and I don't leave town.
and I get your sloppy seconds. Gives you an idea.
Sorry about your damn luck. Those are pretty sloppy.
That's what Leno said the best. The singers and the rock stars, they get all the women. Comics get the kind of women who pick up cops.
We're the permanent wingman.
That's right.
Forever the
That's
wingman.
very true. I
That's
think.
right.
Well, Vilmos, I really want to thank you for taking some time out. I know you're on the road, and oddly enough, you were just here in the area. And I actually have another comedian waiting on hold to call in, but I really want to thank you very much for taking some time out to call in, tell us a little bit about Caleb, and again, thank you very much for posting it, and thank you for to the comedians that came out and all the people that came out to watch the show. I really appreciate it. We had some great raffle prizes donated via Verizon Wireless and some small businesses in the area, from massages, which unfortunately I didn't win, which I love massages.
Everyone needs to be needed.
Yes, soccer teams, and there's a great military museum. So a lot of people came together to toss some stuff in, and the Tampa Picture Show donated the room and gave movie tickets to people as prizes. So it was really nice. Everybody had some fun.
Well, no need to thank me. You guys are doing all the work. I'm just yelling. That's all I'm doing.
And we'll help you yell.
Keep on yelling. Keep
Well,
on
thank
screaming your story and Caleb's story.
Will do. Thank you very much, you guys. Thank
God-
you
Thank
all
you.
of you out there that listen to these fellas. They're good dudes. So
thank you.
I
God bless you,
appreciate
sir.
everything.
All right. Drive safe. Be good. And we'll stay funny.
Break a lip.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. So that was a great call, man.
That was very nice.
I always like when people call in, and it was nice that he was involved with it. And I mean, he really got it going from the get-go. So
You got the taste of it. I did it in terms of why he probably took a shine to Caleb and how he and Caleb's dad don't see eye to eye. I don't want to get involved with any family business or where my beak
Sure.
doesn't belong. But it's nice that you mentioned he was a mentor, and we're fortunate. I guess we're all fortunate at one time, if ever in our lives, if someone like that comes through. And if it's, I don't know if it's if you're a tradesman and you have a guy who's telling you how to lay bricks a certain way, or a writer, a friend of yours, or if it's a mechanic, whatever it is, you have that guiding hand who's,
definitely. definitely.
Did you have a mentor? Have you have a mentor or anyone that has really made a huge impact on your life?
You know what? We're going to take a call right now,
Okay.
and then we'll get back to that.
No question about it.
Is this TJ?
This is TJ.
This is Dinner with TJ. TJ, how are you?
I've heard about this, man.
How are you,
Thank
sir?
you guys very much for having me. I am doing excellent.
I want to thank you for, I know it was a late call, but we had somebody on, and we just took an extra couple of minutes.
So what's for dinner?
I actually, it's a really late call. I thought it was 9:30 this morning I was supposed to be on, so I'm just happy to be here.
All right, we like overachievers. So I'm going to let everybody know briefly. TJ's calling in because he has a YouTube show, which is called Dinner with TJ, and it's because TJ don't eat nothing. TJ, what are the 5 or 6 foods that you only eat normally? What started all this?
Well, all my whole life I've always eaten the same 5 foods. For every meal and every snack, those 5 foods are chicken, turkey, hot dogs, hamburgers, and bacon. You could name a food literally before Dinner with TJ started, and I have never tried it. Ranging from a potato chip all the way up to sushi or coffee. I've never had ice cream.
Now,
All of these are new to me.
Can I back up and say now? Obviously, now were you a kind of a picky eater, or was that the way? Did your parents provide you with a nice junk-free diet when you were growing up?
It was just those 5 foods. Did you just bitch and complain until that was all they would give you?
I mean, some kids all they want is macaroni and cheese, but it sounds like you had a diversified. At least you had beef and chicken.
The problem is he's like a 30-year-old man, and this is all he's eating.
Well, but I'm talking about TJ. When you were a boy, did you have disciplined eating habits when you were a kid growing up?
Went all the way up to, from when I was a baby, my mom always said I ate normal.
Okay.
And then I remembered when I was a younger kid, probably around 5 or 6 years old, I was sitting at a dinner table for Thanksgiving dinner, and I had all my aunts and uncles and cousins, everyone was sitting around the turkey. And I remember I ate some sort of a vegetable which caused me to vomit all over the turkey.
Oh, my God.
And then since then, I just had a mental barrier shut down where I'm like, I'm not trying nothing.
If I was at the table, I'd give up turkey, too.
So,
But turkey I still eat, believe it or not. Even that was part of the horrible ordeal.
It's just the
still one of
dressing you
5
got to
foods.
watch and the
now,
stuffing.
will you eat turkey in any form, or does it have to be
Thanksgiving style turkey.
Yeah, well, is that it? Will you eat it cold cut style or any flavored? What's the deal?
It has to be like a real turkey. Like, I'm not going to go to a deli and ask for them to cut up that processed turkey neck.
So you're not doing the boar's head. You're not doing the boar's head turkey slices.
Like you get.
I don't want the slices. I want the whole bird in that oven for 10+ hours. I want to just enjoy it.
Okay, so you'll eat the shit out of some turkey, but here, I'm a fat guy. I'm a foodie. I don't understand how you had hamburgers and hot dogs and you didn't have no damn French fries. How does that happen?
Yeah. It just happened, and like I grew up my whole life.
You never had
my mom
side?
did not want to not feed me, so she would always ask me, TJ, what do you want to eat? Meanwhile, she would cook like pizza for my sister, cook chicken for me, and then make herself like a tuna sandwich. But she never force-fed me to try the other 2 foods.
Huh.
Well,
so I grew into this bubble of just a shell of a fear of trying foods because of it.
So you've never
Now
tried
I'm in
lasagna?
therapy. What was that, sorry?
You never tried lasagna?
I've never had lasagna, and I've never had pizza. Okay? Pizza I tried, and I went from the crust backwards. I didn't give it a fair enough go. So then I still don't think I know what pizza tastes like.
Oh, my gosh.
So let me ask you, now, do you do a little stand-up comedy? Is that how you got into having, because the Dinner with TJ is you and pretty much most of the time very well-known, if not celebrity comedians, some of which that have been on this show, go to dinner and they introduce you to foods. How did that part come about? I mean, were you doing comedy first, and how did that whole idea come? Or did your wife just kick you out of the house?
I do stand-up comedy, but I've never spoke about my food issues before I started my whole therapy sessions. And part of my therapy was me calling what's called flooding the fear, where I try every food that I've never tried. So then I started to see the humor in this, and how as a 31-year-old man that's never had pizza, let's go ahead and document this. And I thought, why not have funny people introduced me to those foods.
Wow.
So I reached out to all these guys over Facebook and emails and managers and just said, hey, the world's pickiest eater wants you to pick a meal for him. And then I just named all the comedians that have done it with me. And then it just snowballed from local Canadian comics where I'm from to big-time American comics when they're in town.
Right, and you've had...
Everybody wants a piece of the 31-year-old food virgin.
There you go.
Have you had sex?
He's got a wife.
I've had sex, yes.
Okay.
I have had sex.
Okay.
Is that a food that's off limit?
I was just going to go
I knew that's where you guys were going.
Hey, listen, this is Let's Be Frank.
Episode, I believe, 2 or 3 when I had Bobby Slayton on, he asked that question, do I eat pussy? And the answer is, yes, I eat pussy.
Okay.
Congratulations.
That's how I stalled for you guys.
But it's got to be special. Is there no special preparation involved in it? You can take it just al dente, as it were?
It's his wife. He takes it however he can get it.
No, there's actually pickiness involved with that too. You know, believe it or not, I just don't dive in and just eat any clam out of the ocean, if you will. You know, I gotta pick and choose.
Well, you know the difference.
The right one for my loving.
That's right. You know the difference between sushi and pussy, don't you?
I do know that.
Rice.
Which I just saw him try rice for the first time the other day.
Oh my God!
Yep.
He tried this little tiny piece of It's funny because he's 31 and he looks when he's taking a bite of food. He looks like he's a 5-year-old kid, and he's got to be like he's eating a piece of liver. Like, I can't believe you're making me do this. It's great. And the first one I saw was with Bobby Slayton, which was great because Bobby Slayton was really the first celebrity to call into my show, so it was really cool. And he had you try some simple things like, wasn't it a Reuben? Was it?
No, that was Alonzo Bowden that had me try a Reuben sandwich.
Okay.
But with Bobby Slayton, it was condiments because I've never had ketchup, mustard, or relish, or hot sauce. So he had the condiment episode where we went in there and we tried all the different condiments.
Did you eat the pickle with him? Where did you try the pickle?
The pickle, yeah, that was also at the same meal with Bobby Slayton.
That was the greatest face in the world. It looked like a doctor stuck his finger in his asshole or something. It was just like, oh my God!
And then stuck it in his mouth.
Yes, and I love pickles. My family had a pickle business. Pickles are like
in New York. Oh yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
I'll eat me a fried pickle, a regular pickle. I'll eat a cucumber before it's pickled. I like some pickle.
Right.
So
if you guys are foodies, you need to watch the episode with Bill Burr where we had a whole pig head with me, Bill Burr, and Robert Kelly.
Oh my God! You must have had a good time with that one.
This pig head could have turned me vegetarian, but since I've never tried vegetables, it would have killed me to turn vegetarian.
Dude, I saw him. You said it was Bill Burr and who else again?
Robert Kelly.
All right. Now, Robert Kelly, and I apologize for not remembering his name, but he told you that the pig ear was going to taste like bacon, and you fell for that. I was like, he's going to eat that.
I did.
And you've had bacon before, though, right?
Bacon is one of the 5 foods, so yes,
okay.
It's how I fell for it. But what other people describe the ear as was as a chip, as well as bacon. So like, even though I thought of the bacon part, still the fact that I've never had a plain potato chip, it weighed heavily on me trying that pig ear.
Now,
Bobby Kelly actually ate 90% of that pig, from the eyeball to the nose. We ordered bison tongue for that meal as well, which was just ridiculous.
Now I'm with you there. The tongue. What is it? Is it what is that? Boozler's line? I'm not going to eat anything that's going to taste me back.
Yes.
You know,
Elaine.
I'm not going to do the tongue thing.
I'm good with muscle. I don't want to eat any organs. I will eat a muscle. I will not eat an organ.
Right. I mean, we can draw the line. Now, I want to ask you, TJ, is now your pickiness, is it come from, I don't know, a health concern or
I think it's all tied to that bad experience
sanitation
at Thanksgiving.
Or is it a queasiness you get in your stomach, or just the presentation just doesn't look appetizing to you?
I have zero urge for food. I only eat food so I do not die. Like I could walk in. For example, I live in a radius of 5 different McDonald's, and the fact that I eat all my hamburgers plain with no food on it, I could taste where every single McDonald's goes wrong with their hamburgers. Wow. Okay, so like doctors call what I have being a super taster. So I don't want to try food because when I bite into a piece of food, as I'm learning throughout this whole dinner with TJ, every time I bite into a food, I taste every single piece and particle of that food, which is going to result in some sort of gag or vomit.
That's the best part. When he gags, I just laugh my ass off.
And that could be something.
Dave, you got to wait for season 2 because season 1 was nothing but gagging. Season 2 was already nicknamed Season Puke.
And that could be with pasta, right? You could something as it's not like it's roast chicken faces or anything that.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, we
like
did have roast pig faces.
Well, like you're doing, like Zenderman does, who eats fried bat shit. That fucker's just weird. But the guy on the Food Network, Bourdain's got the gig.
Oh,
if you ask
okay,
me.
yeah.
But something that's like
there's a lot of haters. There's a lot of haters on the internet that says I'm faking this, okay? And that bugs me because if I'm faking it, wait till you guys see me vomit off of peanut butter.
Well,
okay?
so this is a condition.
If I'm faking it, then give me an Oscar right now give me a YouTube Oscar.
Yeah, I don't believe you're faking it, man. I've seen it, and I just
is this?
There's nobody that would take that pansy size of a French fry bite. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a supersized fat guy to put the whole French fry in your mouth. You nibbled that like it was a piece of fucking liver or cod, like you were scared to eat it. And that's like one of the most delicious treats in the world. That's a fried potato.
Is this a physical condition, TJ, or is it more psychological, or is there you have like?
It's 100% psychological. I grew up with OCD where I would hold doors open with my sleeves, afraid to get every germ like Howie Mandel. I live that lifestyle.
Another openly Canadian man, by the way.
Definitely tendencies of OCD.
Wow. Now, how's your wife? Is your wife turning like your mother is? Is she
frustrated?
Kind of frustrated, or is she on board with the diet or the way you have to go shopping? I mean, you can be creative with chicken, beef, and turkey. I mean, rather than the whole turkey, but chicken and beef, you can be creative. Most of us have that chicken.
I have a funny feeling it's his way or the highway when it comes to cooking. And
no fish. You have no fish at all. You have had any fish, like a nice
Nothing
piece of
from the
grouper?
ocean, anyway.
My wife. The reason why I married my wife is simply because she was the only one in my world to get the way I ate besides my immediate family.
Wow.
I told her on the very first date, hey, I want to take you for coffee, but I've never tried coffee. That was my opening line to her. And that night I told her everything, and then she just accepted it. Where I had girlfriends where I would hide this for months on end, the fact that I would eat it. And they would wonder, why am I always having chicken? Why am I always having chicken? And they would break up with me when they found out that I'm a 28 or whatever, how old I was, and I've never had a vegetable. They would run for the hills, if they will.
Still to this day, as we speak. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, out of the foods that you've tried, and I've watched you eat some delicious foods. I wouldn't have touched a fucking pig head, but what was the worst experience and what was the best food? Do you think you'll eat it again?
The worst was spaghetti. Okay, I had spaghetti with Kate Micucci, and that was the world's worst, and that was just rubber. It was the first time I tried
You had shitty
sauce.
spaghetti, that's what it is. You had shitty spaghetti and bad sauce.
Oh, it was everything. It was rubber. It was disgusting. That meal was coming up. A lot of these comedians tell me, hey, TJ, if you puke, I'm walking out of this restaurant. So, due to respect to them and respect for people around me in a restaurant, I kept it down. Wow. And it was due to love for Kate Micucci that did not come up.
Right, there's only so many outdoor cafes where you can shoot your show at, so you can at least puke when you're outside and not in the establishment.
Wow. So what's
really weird, the restaurants have no idea what we're doing. When we call the restaurants, we tell them that we are the comedians' agents, and they're coming into town, and they want to have a nice meal, but we're also filming a documentary, but not about your restaurant. It's about the comedian. So they let us right in with their cameras. We're in some really high-end restaurants. They have no idea that I'm puking on YouTube right now.
Do you at least pick up the tab for these comedians, or they
that's
buy
all, that's all I do. I don't even have to pay them, you know? I just buy their food and say, hey, you got to eat when you're in town. Why not eat and meet the biggest freak in your life that's never tried anything? Pick a food, any food. He'll try it for the first time with you.
It's pretty cost-effective because you probably don't eat that much anyway.
Right. So what was the favorite thing that you've tried?
pancakes, hands down.
Pancakes.
Well,
That is
you
a
took
delicious
one bite
treat.
and you said, "Oh my God, what have I been missing all these years?" Right?
Was it with
It
or without
was a
syrup?
euphoria. It was heaven.
As
that
they should
pancake,
be.
I still dream about that pancake. You know how you guys dream about like that first piece of girl that you guys got?
Yeah, pancake. Tasted like pancakes.
My new dream is that pancake. I've been chasing that pancake for 6 months now.
Now, have you had pancakes again since?
I have them every single Sunday morning.
Great, good for you.
All right,
As you
cool.
should. As you should. Spoken like a true American Canadian.
So listen, we got about 5 minutes left in the show, TJ. So
Yep.
I want you to give me a shout out. I mean, tell everybody. I mean, it's Dinner with TJ at YouTube.
Yeah, Dinner with TJ on YouTube. We're in hiatus right now while we're editing up season 2. It's already all filmed and shot. We've got, I think, 14 new comedians coming at you guys. High-profile comedians from Wendy Liebman all the way to Key and Peele. We've got some big names, some fun foods coming up. Every episode, once we start season 2, a new episode will be out every Thursday. So subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/dinnerwithtj. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And watch me puke over something as simple as peanut butter.
Nice. Listen, TJ, thank you for calling in.
I think
Yo,
that's
man,
fantastic.
I appreciate it.
I think you should go to an Italian restaurant and order a stromboli.
Or some scungili.
Yeah, well, that's scary, but wait, that's like
Maybe
squid.
we'll do it like live over Skype. You go and get a stromboli. I'll get a stromboli. We'll have a Dinner with TJ / Let's Be Frank mashup.
There you go.
Oh.
Or
I like this kid, how he's thinking.
For
You see?
listen,
He's eating
I will-
smart food. Whatever he's eating smart food.
If we're doing that, either I'm coming to Canada or you're coming here because I make my own homemade strombolis,
Ooh.
and that's just how I roll. I'm a
nice.
fat man. and I
I'm
can
coming
cook.
over now.
There you go. You got to put out if you come over, Ward.
Well, fuck,
I'm not
not-
gay, but twice a year don't make you queer. So.
You know what I'm saying? I was gay, but I quit when it was my turn. We'll talk.
TJ, thank you for calling in. We're gonna let Ward give some shout outs and go out there and try some food, man.
Dinner with TJ. We'll check it out. And y'all check it out, too.
Awesome,
And,
guys.
and I'm jealous of all your famous comedians. I don't have as many. Tell them all to call me that I'm great. I need help.
You know I will now. You know I will. I'll put this
Okay,
right
so
on
one
my
thing-
Dinner with
one
TJ
thing-
fan page. Right now, Canada will embrace you. I'm starting to get some popularity in Canada where I can't even walk down the street without someone noticing me. So
Nice.
Canadians are going to start following you now.
And keep up with the pancakes. And one thing I can say as a hardcore pancake fan myself, fuck waffles, okay? Don't waste your time.
And you know what's nice about pancakes? You can mix anything. You can put chocolate chips in them. They put
You
everything
can put
in
hot
pancakes.
dogs in a bacon. So you have pig in a blanket now.
There you go. That's
So-
almost like a pancake corn dog.
You're damn right it is.
TJ just got a hard on thinking about hot dog and pancake.
Now you want
syrup
to
in
and you
one
want to
shot.
try pumpkin pie and bacon or chocolate covered bacon.
I got to take care of this boner right now, guys, thinking of that pig in a blanket stuff, 'cause that does sound
Can't keep a
euphoric
good
right
man
now.
down.
All right, man. Listen, thank you again for calling in. It was great. We will speak to you soon, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more episodes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Watch
All
your
right.
cholesterol.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's
So
amazing. That's amazing.
It is.
I mean, do you have there's some food? I think we all have some foods that we just won't eat, like liver or. Is that for
I
you?
don't eat organs.
Okay.
That's pretty
You're not a
much
tripe
it.
guy. You're not a spleen and
no,
kidneys. Yeah.
no.
I'm not a soul food
Yeah.
person, as it were.
Yes. I like to lick boobies and vaginas,
Okay.
just like TJ.
Sure.
I don't get to do those as much as I would like. If you would like Fat Davey to lick your boobies and vagina,
The
please
phone
call
number
in.
is 727-493-2055.
There you go. Call in and make an appointment. No
That's right.
problem. My schedule is open.
Get a lick
But listen, let's let everybody know where you're going to be next. I only have one thing to shout out.
Okay.
This week, I'm going to be at Billy Jackson Largo.
Great.
And I'm going to be doing a show with Sam Rosen, Steve Bird, Ali. I can't say his last name. Probably better not.
Okay.
It could be on the no-fly list or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But he's a great guy. It's going to be a good show, and that's at Billy Jack's Wednesday at 8 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And where are you going to be? Because you're going to be at Coconuts, right?
Coconuts on the beach. They just opened a brand new room in the Beachcomber Resort.
I have been blessed to do some guest sets there
Beautiful
for Bobby.
room,
It's
isn't
a
it?
great room.
It looks like a real room again, like it
Yes.
used to be. And it's nice to see them back in a really nice, good digs. And I'll be there with G. David from Wednesday to Saturday. What is it, the 29th through the 1st?
There you go. Maybe I'll see if I
Second.
can come down there.
Come on
see,
out.
Yeah, maybe I'll come down and watch the show. Maybe I could sneak in a guest set.
Right.
You can find out how Fat Davey rolls.
That's right.
off
Burn
the
Notice is
stage.
still available on iTunes, and so is Army Wives. And keep your eyes out for the Burn Notice marathons.
There you
They're out
go. Where's your website? Tell them where to find your website.
WardGregorySmith.com. It's also, you can IMDb me and type in Ward G. Smith. As a matter of fact, you have a star ranking. You have your Cume ranking of how
Yes.
many people watch you and whatnot. I started at 177,628. I've since, give you an idea. George Clooney's like 3. Okay. I'm now up to 65,000. So I broke 6 figures. You know,
See, that's the equivalent of when I get happy that I break into the top 100 on Stitcher,
right,
because
okay.
now I'm only like 45 or 50 back from some of these
Right.
big, huge, like all these big,
Right.
huge guys. that
I'm
have
only
shows.
60,000 back from Clooney.
There you go.
you
Only
know.
60.
Rather than 177,000.
There you go,
back.
man. Hopefully, when your newness wears off, you don't drop down a little bit like the stackings in radio.
Well, it has faded because you check in and it says you're off this week.
Yeah, you're excited. You're like you're in the top 100. Next week, we don't track anybody under the 100.
Well,
You're not in there.
they still track it. The algorithms are such that it still picks up if people go back and watch the podcasts.
Yes.
Or when they DVR it, it comes back. Somehow it relates to. They look at the viewership. There's the estimated viewership of a particular show. So many
Right.
eyeballs brings your star meter up.
There you go.
And some way they keep clicking it on, and hey, I'm waiting for the residual check, and then we're going out to dinner when I get it.
There you go. Well, we are going to wrap up the show, and I want to thank you
Cue
for
the
coming
music.
in. Go ahead and visit his website. Check him out on Facebook. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, go on down to Coconuts in St. Pete Beach and go out and see the show. It's bound to be funny. Thank you very much for coming
You're
in.
quite
Thank you,
welcome. Thanks for
everybody,
having
for
me, Dave.
tuning in. We'll speak to you next week, and have a great night.
Break a lip.
Thanks for listening in to the Let's Be Frank show on ComedySlamRadio.com. If you missed this show or like to catch up on past shows, visit us on Stitcher Radio and iTunes at Let's Be Frank's Podcast, and have a great night. We'll see you next week.
What was that? I'll tell you what that was. That was another fine show from ComedySlamRadio.com, where we put the .com